says it was to make sure I was serious. I am now stuck on group vacation with him. What the hell do I do? Oh god. Okay. I am holed up in my room in a ski chalet while everyone else in our group is still in the village. I am a little drunk and feeling extremely fucked up about this situation right now. My wife, Suzanne, and I met online 4 years ago. We'd both had some bad relationships and we both wanted something serious. Early on, she told me that she was tired of guys bailing after the relationship turned physical and that she wanted to wait on that front, which I was not just okay with, but thought it was smart. My most successful relationship before her was with someone where we waited a few months, and I appreciated getting to build a friendship to see if we clicked on an emotional level. Suzanne also told me that she understood if I still wanted to date around during that time and didn't expect me to be exclusive until we both explicitly agreed on it. I told her that I wasn't one to try and fight a war on two fronts. I was serious about making it work with one person. Now, up until last night, I thought that she had felt the same. She never once mentioned seeing other people while we were dating, and based on the way she talked about wanting to build an emotional connection, I assumed, dumbly I guess, that she was only seeing me. We're on this trip with 3 other couples and her friend Josh. I've always liked him. He and I have had some long convos, smoking stuff, and talking about life and work as we both work in tech. I've always gotten the vibe that he's a kind, caring person who goes out of his way to help his friends. He's a big advocate for people doing therapy and talks openly about what he's working on. This is what gets upsetting for me. Last night we got back from skiing and we were all exhausted. I went downstairs to start chopping veggies to help another of the couples cook the group dinner. Suzanne took a shower and I chopped and chatted for like 30 minutes. I came back upstairs to bring Suzanne some wine and I heard her and Josh, chatting in our room. No big deal. I walked in and Suzanne is in a towel with her leg up on the bed, putting on lotion, talking about her job. It wasn't exactly a compromising position, but it struck me as possibly intimate. If she moved a bit one way or another, she would be giving him a view. She said hi to me, kept putting on lotion, and then grabbed the wine, totally nonchalant. Just said it was his turn to shower and left. Sitting there now, I wish to God that I just kept my fucking mouth shut. But I said it was a little surprising that she was putting on lotion in a towel with Josh in the room. She said she didn't even realize that because she was just caught up in her story and went on autopilot. I've always known her to be a self-conscious person. She wears a swimsuit that cover a lot of her skin because she doesn't like to feel gawked at. So I was getting the tingles in the back of my brain that something was off. I said something like, "You're usually so quick to cover up around people." And she said, "I guess I just know Josh so well that it didn't register." When she said that, there was just something abrasive myself and I said, "Whoa, did I strike a nerve?" And she said, "Let's just go to eat," but now clearly agitated and doing a fake smile thing. At this point, I could feel my stomach getting a little queasy and like I was heading toward a world of pain. I had to fix the lighting, sorry. I shut the door and I could tell something was wrong. She said I needed to trust her, that there was nothing going on between her and Josh. I said I never imagined or implied that there was. So it was really weird that she felt like she had to make that clear. Now, I was feeling gross and suspicious, so I straight up said, "I can tell you're uncomfortable right now. Either you tell me what's up, or I'll go and ask Josh." What happened next was the most uncomfortable hour of my life. I need more scotch for this. She said that she and Josh had a sexual history and that it really wasn't any of my business. I said that since he's still in our lives, then I deserve to know the context. She said there was no context other than that he was someone she felt safe with when she wasn't partnered, and they would have sex every now and then. I asked when the last time they slept together, and she danced around it before saying, "Before you and I were exclusive." I said that was a fuzzy answer because I was exclusive with her from the time of our first date. She said that she never had sex with him after the two of us had sex. I asked if she had sex with him during the 6 months between our first date and when we had sex, and she said she had. I instantly felt like throwing up and started yelling a bunch of shit I don't really remember. She just had the most pissed off and disgusted look on her face the whole time. I finally calmed down a little and asked her to please give me the full story, timelines, etc. She wasn't fully open and I had to keep digging to get more information, and it was a very non-linear conversation, but here is what I pieced together. About 10 years ago, Suzanne's friend Rose, now 40 female, also on this trip with us, had gotten out of a string of short, disappointing relationships. Rose started having sex with Josh regularly in a kind of friends with benefits kind of way, while still hitting the apps. Apparently, the arrangement with Josh made it easier for her to forego sex in her dating life, which she found helpful for vetting guys to see if they were serious. Eventually, she did find the man she's now married to, Eric, a 38 male. Seeing the success that Rose had, 2 other friends got into the same arrangement with Josh, and voila, they all found serious guys as well. A modern fucking miracle. How about that? Suzanne said she talked Josh about giving it a try, and he was super good about boundaries and making sure the focus was on her finding a long-term partner, and even gave her advice about guys she was seeing. I said, "So you would go on dates with me, I'd drop you off, give you a kiss on the neck, you'd go fuck Josh and then talk about our relationship." She said that was a crass way of putting it, and that he was so supportive and made it easier for her and I to focus on what matters more. I stayed on the hide a bit and told people I was sick and couldn't ski today. I've just been sipping Macallan 12 and writing this in between naps. Feelings I'm having right now: sadness, betrayal, jealousy, inferiority, drunk, more sad, and notes of pissed off and wanting to flee. But we are in fucking Canada, and I don't even know the quickest way to get back home. Do I side of things more easily. Okay, there's a lot of updates. Okay, too long to read. Wife was banging her friend instead of me when we started dating. She claims because it helped her not to have sex too early in a relationship. We are on a ski trip with the friend and I want to run away from my life. Oh my goodness. So, I don't know, this is a poster problem of not communicating your boundaries and your expectations clearly. I feel like they had the conversation and then somewhere it got lost in translation. She literally said, you don't have to be exclusive, I'm still seeing other people. And he said, I want to be exclusive, and she just went like, I don't know where that conversation went, but apparently it went a lot wrong there. I don't know. I really don't know. I really don't know. What I would say to that, I would not. I don't think I would be happy hearing that either. The thing is, like, something I wouldn't like is hanging out with someone my partner has slept with and basically being the only person in the room not knowing that that happened. That's for example, a boundary me and my boyfriend have. It's just like we both have had a life and connections before meeting each other, but that doesn't have to make it like uncomfortable, you know, like there just has to be open communication. So I definitely feel like that is a bit weird coming from the wife to just never have communicated that beforehand. Like there'd be some people who don't care about that at all, but I personally, you know, would like to know and not be like the oblivious person in the room. And then, like, I don't know, I feel like it was really not clearly communicated in the beginning. It just kind of weird. So I feel like for him, right now he needs some space probably. I feel like they need to take some time apart and he needs to think about if that is like something he cannot live with. I feel like it's a bit of a grey zone. I'm intrigued to hear what you guys are saying. I feel like it's a bit of a grey zone, as if they didn't have a like stick to arrangement, then it's just the whole thing is a little weird. Like also like dating someone but sleeping with someone else to like stay abstinent from what? Like having sex. I don't know, like it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me if I am being completely honest. But let's read the comments and the updates. So the top comment is stop drinking and start thinking. If you want to go home, figure out transportation to the nearest airport and go home. Yeah, see. Someone said tell the other husband first. Someone commented on that. Josh is the platonic fuck buddy of all those women. I'm pretty sure none of their husbands know. See, like I also think like the story is just so weird. You know that movie where these four girls all share this one pair of jeans and whoever's like wearing it, like good things happen to them. Like Josh is that jean, you know. What's going on? If my boyfriend would be telling me this, right, just from the other perspective, I'd be so like, I don't know, I'd get the egg. You know, I'd be like, what? Like, you cannot be serious. The only problem is that these people are spouses were intimate with Josh? It's a fair question. I then asked them if they are having an issue with their spouse being around him. Explain what you saw with your wife and Josh, and asked how they would handle that. Your wife will be pissed, but she brought this shit on herself. See, yeah, I really feel that, because, like, she will be pissed, and I feel like she exactly knows that wasn't something that was communicated clearly and okay with everyone, just with the way of her being super weird and, like, trying to get out of the conversation. So I think she knows. It was weird. Okay, but I'll read you the edit. Edit. I'm very hungover, but reading through all the comments to clarify a few things. One, the only other woman who slept with Josh, Rose, is on the trip. The other two couples were my friends first and don't know Josh well. Sorry of those telling me I should drop a huge bombshell. Sorry to those telling me I should drop a huge bombshell at dinner. Oh, that would be so funny. Two, the reason it is hard to leave is because we all drove over the border together in a van, and we are deep in the mountains. Not a lot of transit options. If I decide to leave, it will be a massive pain in the ass. 3. I don't have any reason to suspect an ongoing thing between Josh and my wife. I've never seen a hint of flirtation from either of them. Even when I walked in on them last night, they seemed completely casual, like I would be with one of my guy friends. But I also never suspected she could compartmentalize her feelings the way she apparently did. So I need to be open to all possibilities at this point. I'm going to ski this afternoon with just my buddy Ryan and see if he has any advice. We'll be abstaining from alcohol for the rest of the trip, as many suggest. Update. Thanks everyone for the wide array of perspectives on this. You've given me a lot to consider that I would have not otherwise. I particularly appreciate hearing women's point of view on this. The consensus from them seems to be that the arrangement with Josh made strategic sense, but that Suzanne should have disclosed things much earlier. Yeah, and see, I don't feel like that it made the most strategic sense. Like, I don't know. It's kind of like, I'm trying to be vegan, but when I'm at work, I'm still gonna eat meat just to, like, see if I can do it at home. That makes no fucking sense. I'm sorry, it really makes no sense. Like, if it's clearly communicated in the beginning of a relationship, you're free to go around and do whatever you want. Oh, to me, it doesn't make the biggest sense. Like, sleeping with one guy just so you can see if the other one is real. Okay, whatever. I went skiing yesterday and today after deciding that I'm going to stay for the rest of the trip. I've been looking forward to this all year, and I might actually get some snow soon. I have been hanging out with 2 of my good guy friends for the most part. Suzanne has asked if we can talk, but I told her I'm not ready and I just want to focus on skiing. I'm pretty sure she's alerted Josh because he has been standoffish. Whatever. The feeling that is currently strongest is one of broken trust. Several commenters noted that the language Suzanne used made her technically within her rights to have the arrangement with Josh. The question in my mind that I keep asking is, if I had known about Josh from the get-go, what would have changed? I certainly don't think I would have continued the relationship for 6 months without pursuing other options at the same time. Suzanne knew that I was only pursuing her. She had all of my attention because I wanted to make something work for once. I also can't shake the feeling that our relationship would have developed much more quickly if Josh had not been around. I I spent some time last night looking at old texts and emails from our early days, about 3 months in. I started crying because I remember just how smitten I was with her then. I was really starting to see a future with her, but now I read her responses differently. What seemed like cute coy replies feel like apathy in retrospect. It robs a lot of the magic from my memories, and I just feel empty. I'm not sure how I'm going to handle things, but I'm very seriously considering talking to Eric on one-on-one before the trip ends to see what the thing looks like from his perspective. We're here until Tuesday, so there's time. Until then, I'm just going to ski my brains out and we'll pray for snow. Oh, okay, this was posted 20 days ago and has no update, unfortunately. And there's also not been any new comments, unfortunately. So we don't know what ended up happening there. It's kind of wild, right? I think they might be doomed. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if he can get over it, and I don't know, it just makes really clear how important communication is, especially in the start of a relationship. Like, lay it all out, people. Lay it all out. Lay it all out. Someone has said she didn't tell you because she knew you wouldn't like it, yet you hang around and vacation together. Her excuse is far from acceptable the most. You are her husband, but it's none of your business. That's a marriage ender for some. The question is, what was your agreement on talking about past relationships and sexual partners? See, that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you really need to talk about this stuff, and I feel like it was really not okay from the wife. I don't know. Yeah, no. But let's continue, because we've talked way too long about this story. Okay, so let's continue. The next story that my boyfriend picked out was posted 7 days ago on Am I the Asshole, and it's called Am I the Asshole for Flipping Out on My Fiance After Her Daughter Almost Got Me Arrested. That's spicy. Okay. I, 38 male, got engaged to my fiance, 37 female, about 3 months ago. We've been dating for almost 3 years. She has 2 kids from a previous relationship, 15 female and 12 male. Their dad is involved in their lives, and for the most part, the adults all co-parent and communicate well. I get along really well with the 12-year-old, but I have always struggled to build a relationship with my soon-to-be stepdaughter, Riley. She made it very clear to me, my fiance and her bio dad, that she doesn't view me as a parent, and doesn't want me to try and be a father to her because she already has one. A few days ago, my fiance sent me a text asking me if I could pick up Riley from school because she had something come up at work that was going to keep her late. My fiance usually picks up Riley once a week and brings her to a chiropractic appointment to help with a sports injury Riley got. She told me she would call the school to let them know that I would be picking Riley up because I wasn't on the approved pickup list yet. However, when I got to Riley's school, it quickly became apparent that my fiance forgot to call the school. The school has locked doors that require you to have a code or to be buzzed in by the office. I buzzed into the office to let them know I was there to pick up Riley and that my fiance should have called to let them know. They didn't know anything about it. I was left waiting outside for 5 to 10 minutes while they figured it out. I tried calling and texting my fiance, but she didn't answer. Then the school resource officer, an actual uniformed cop, came out and told me that I would have to leave and that if I would refuse, he would arrest me for trespassing. I tried talking with him, but he just kept saying I was not authorized to be on school property and that I had to leave. I had no choice but to leave without Riley. Finally, an hour later, my fiance called me back. I explained what happened and she apologized for forgetting to call the school because she got distracted with work. She told me she would figure it out and meet me at home. When she and Riley got home, Riley went straight to her room. My fiance sat me down and told me that Riley had lied to the office and told him that she didn't know who I was and had never seen me before. Thought it would be funny. She told me she explained to Riley how dangerous that was and was going to work with Riley's dad to figure out a punishment. Needless to say, I did not take the news well. I admit I did raise my voice to her. I didn't yell, but I did get louder than I usually talk. She told me to calm down, and I told her that I won't calm down because her daughter almost got me arrested because she thought it would be funny. I told her that she's just as responsible for this as Riley is because she didn't call the school and it put me in a position where I looked like a creep or predator. My fiance thinks I'm overreacting and I need to let her and Riley's dad handle this. I don't know what to think of this story. What do you guys think? I definitely feel like he's not the asshole. Like, what would he be the asshole for? I feel like there's some family group therapy on the horizon for this family. That would probably be a good call. Riley sounds, I don't know, a little off, like definitely not loving her mother's new boyfriend, which, you know, you didn't have to, but I don't know, on one hand, like, there's probably more to the story in her eyes, you know, that she's just taking the whole situation really hard, and, you know, I feel like the kid needs some psychological help here, because there's something she probably is not coping well with if she thinks that is something funny she should do. So, I don't know, it was definitely the daughter's fault, and there should definitely be punishment for that. Like, I don't know, she's old enough to realize what she's doing is not only bad, but also dangerous. Like, imagine he would have actually got arrested. Because let's be real, that's what really should have happened from the school. If someone tries to pick up a minor at the school, I don't know, I would have instantly called the cops as a school, but whatever. Let's read the comments, but I'll say, not the asshole, and I think he has a right to be really, really angry. However, punishment would probably have to be up to the girl's mom and dad, but they should seriously consider therapy, I think. So, top comment is, not the asshole. Look, OP, I think you need to reconsider your future with your fiancé very carefully. Yes, she dropped the ball not calling, but Riley could have easily rectified the situation had she been honest. I highly doubt she meant it as a harmless prank. Riley's 15. I assume she has access to the internet, TikTok, the news, etc. I feel like she's old enough to evaluate the social implications of what denying you would do, and she did it anyway. Unless she really is just that stupid, this feels much more malicious than a prank gone wrong. Okay, yeah. Although you might love your fiance and your relationship with her, aside from this, is good, Riley is never going away, and her attitude towards you might never soften, especially after she receives punishment for this stunt. She could learn her lesson, or she might resent you even more. Riley will always be in a position to cry wolf, and though ultimately she might be proven wrong, are you prepared for the hassle of dealing with that if she decides to do it again? I don't mean to be a downer and just assume the worst possible scenario going forward, and I'm not saying that your relationship is just over, but this could have very serious consequences. Again, even if Riley eventually came clean, people's lives have been ruined because of false accusations and a loss of public opinion. I just think this warrants a real thought on your part and real discussion with your fiance about how serious this really is. Can you really feel safe, secure, and happy in this relationship and life when there's someone in that would actively try to sabotage you? Okay, yeah, I think this was really well said. Overall, the main agreement on Reddit, the main judgment you may say, is not the asshole, and I definitely agree. He's definitely not the asshole. Like, it's debatable what should happen next. I feel like, yeah, maybe breaking up, maybe group therapy, family therapy, like therapy for everyone. But yeah, it was definitely not okay, and it could have really had serious consequences. So interesting. But let's jump onto the next story because I really don't know what else to say. Okay, the next story is called Am I the asshole for refusing to pay for my girlfriend's plane ticket after she decided to stay longer on her trip without me? I'm getting a lot of girlfriend stories. I wonder if my boyfriend's trying to tell me something, but I need to fix the light real quick. That's better. Okay. Throw away because she knows my Reddit. So, here's the deal. My 28 male girlfriend, 27 female of 2 years, and I planned a 2-week vacation to Italy. I paid for the flights, hotels, everything, because I make more than she does, and I wanted it to be a stress-free trip for both of us. Everything was great until the last day when she tells me she wants to stay longer to find herself and think about our relationship without me. She didn't discuss this with me beforehand, and it completely blindsided me. I was hurt and told her that if she feels like she needs time alone, then she should also be independent financially during this extension of her trip. I said I wouldn't be paying for a new return ticket whenever she decides to come back. Now she's upset, calling me unsupportive and selfish, and some of our friends are saying I'm being an asshole because I left her stranded in a foreign country without financial help. So Reddit, am I the asshole for refusing to pay for a new plane ticket home after she chooses to extend her trip without any heads up? Seriously? posted it was time to go to the airport, so I did, without her. I'm one of those people who arrives really early because I never think I'll get to the gate in time, because everything that could go wrong probably would go wrong. It never does, but especially with how I was feeling my luck was going, I didn't want to push it. I was there for about an hour by myself, mulling things over and talking to my mum. I looked at a couple responses to this post, but I didn't trust that I wouldn't lose it if I started responding, and I definitely didn't want to burst into tears while I was at the airport. As I was talking to my mum, my girlfriend showed up. I guess she thought I was bluffing, but I had a rude awakening when the hotel staff kicked her out of the room because I only paid through that day. It took no small amount of satisfaction in this, not gonna lie. She's been so concerned about the plane ticket that she didn't even stop to think about where she was going to stay. I find that so weird. What did she expect? That he was just gonna pay for her holiday? No. As many of you guessed, I was thinking about that for a second, but I was like, no, that's really not gonna happen. You guys tell me if you thought about this, okay? As many of you guessed, she met someone while we were in Italy. She was quick to tell me that it was just a physical attraction and that they hadn't done anything, but she had his ad and was wanting to see if it would go anywhere. I guess that's what I get for not feeling well and wanting to stay in one night while she went out to explore. Obviously, I told her things were over between us, even though she tried to make it sound like nothing had happened. The fact was, A, I couldn't feel like I could trust her when she said that, and B, I really don't want to be with someone who feels like it's okay to still keep her options open when she's been in a monogamous relationship for the past 2 years. The flight home was awkward as fuck, and she tried really hard to give another pitch for why we should stay together and on the drive from the airport. I think as we got close to home, reality started settling in, and she realized she'd just thrown a lot away. So yeah, I'm jet-lagged and physically emotional, exhausted. What? I'm just kind of numb at this point. So, Kelly Pops just really took that summer fling seriously. Damn. Okay, top comment. Not the asshole. She can find herself on her own time. That's reasonable and fair. You have been supportive and unselfish. You didn't complain or become difficult. You respected her decision to stay and find herself. Supportive does not necessarily mean you have to pay for her choices. And no, you didn't strand her in a foreign country without financial help. It was her decision to stay behind. All you did was respect her decision. However, it was not your obligation to fund her decision. She's a grown woman, which means she's responsible for her choices and her financial independence. You invited her on a couple's trip. Well, the couple's trip is over. She decided to stay on her own. That is no longer a part of the deal. She has every right to stay behind. She also has every right to pay for that out of her own pocket. Has she been this manipulative before? Red flag. Yeah. I feel like that sums it up really, really well. This is a really, really big red flag, and now that we already know the update, honestly, good riddance. Like, I didn't even, like, it just crossed my mind for like half a second, but really I didn't think I thought she was just, you know, the Lulu. But, yeah, okay, she so weird and like want him to pay for it. Like, I think she got what she deserved, and he was really lucky. Yeah, he found out now before, like, they're further on in their lives, you know, before they have kids or a family or married or whatever. So good riddance in my opinion. Obviously not the asshole. That was also Reddit's vote. But let's hop to the next story here, because I want to get through these stories before we're running out of time. Okay, the next story was posted 18 days ago, and it's actually a little bit shorter. It is called "Am I the Asshole? My 39 female ex-husband, 37 male, is insisting I change my last name back to my maiden name because his new fiance, 24 female, feels it will be awkward for her and I to have the same name. Am I the asshole for refusing to change it?" My ex-husband has been dating this woman for 3 years now. For context, she's 24 years old. My ex and I were married for 12 years and have been divorced for 5 years. We have 3 kids together who are now teenagers. My ex and I got divorced because we were young when we met and got married and then grew apart as people. It was a mutual decision and we agreed our kids came first and have always co-parented very well. This has been the case up until the last year when his new girlfriend moved in with him. Previously, we would do holidays and kids' birthdays together. Now, when she's present, they won't even sit near me at our kids' sporting events. I have always been nice to this woman, despite my kids expressing that they do not like her and that they feel their dad acts differently when she's around. My ex told me early on she wasn't a fan of me and felt I intimidated her. When I asked him for examples of how I intimidated her, he said it's my fave that I have a resting bitch face and it makes her uncomfortable. I'm sure. My ex and her got engaged over Christmas and my kids were less than thrilled, my daughter especially. She feels her dad made a major life decision without even talking to them first. My ex called me yesterday saying he's giving me a heads up that I have a year to change my last name back to my maiden name, as his fiancée is expressing her distaste and concern for her and I to have the same last name when they get married. I told him we agreed in our divorce that I could keep his last name until I feel the need to change it, and that is what is listed in our paperwork. My tummy. Sorry. I also told him I don't want to have a different last name than our kids. He said I am being unreasonable and refusing to see how this would make his fiancée uncomfortable. I told him I can't see it from her side because I am a grown-up and not an immature child like she is. He told me I could ask anyone about this situation and everyone would agree with her. So, am I the asshole for refusing to change my last name to make her happy? Now, I'm really biased here because this kind of reads like the story of my parents, just that it was like a slightly bit worse. But basically, in short, my parents got divorced when I was 6 and my brother was 4, and my mother also kept my father's last name, which, you know, but she kept it for multiple reasons, because it is very hard to have a different last name than your children. It makes a lot of paperwork things a lot harder for you. We already ran into this problem because my stepfather has obviously a different last name than us, person that does not have your last name. Yeah, so you're like a lot more suspicious. You need to show like birth certificates and whatnot, and you know, people are more on guard with letting your own children come with you. And it sounds like she is the main caretaker, so you know, keeping the same name even though you're divorced is a pretty common and probably a pretty smart decision. And you know, if you're new to a relationship and your partner has children already, was married previously, that is just something you need to be okay with, and not something you can just pretend away, because for these children, that's that, and whatever you do, like wherever your relationship with this person is going, these children are going to be there forever. Not always. In my case, my father's in 30s, starting 40s, new girlfriend, also 24, back in the day. Also didn't like me and my brother, or let's say we also didn't really like her. And so when my parents filed for divorce, there was like a custody agreement, cause like a custody battle, I guess, because my mom wanted full custody, because my biological father is absolutely useless. Anyway, yeah, and I remember the youth workers, or you know, who's ever doing that case, used to talk to me and my brother, and we said we do want to spend time with our dad, but we want to spend time with him without her, because it was actually genuinely awkward having to hang out with her as well, because she was very young for starters, and also very weird. I remember she used to wear high heels and fur coats to go on walks in a park, and she would just constantly like clamp onto my dad's arm, and we couldn't do any like kid stuff. Like, we would go for a walk in the park. I was like 7, my brother was 5. It was weird. Now, anyway, he then refused to see us without his child bride. And we never saw dad ever again. Yeah, so I haven't seen my dad in 14 years, and that's that. So, for this woman and her children, I really hope the ex-husband, has a little more sense than that. But yeah, it's stupid. I feel like, okay, so controversial probably, I feel like she really is not the asshole here, and she really doesn't need to change her last name. There will probably be something like this over and over and over and over again, and this new fiance will try to make her be the bad guy, and will try to keep this man away from his family and his children. This is not going to go well, but I don't know, in this situation, I really don't know if it would be like a good strategic move to just be like, fuck it, like I'll change the name, because then in the end, like, she doesn't have like ammunition against me to make me look like the bad guy. Yeah, because I mean, that's how it basically ended for me, and I've never seen my father ever again, and I don't, like, you know, it's hard. I'm fine, but kids don't understand that. But you know, I don't know. I feel like that isn't going to be the only problem. There's gonna be more, and I just hope for them that it turns out alright. But the top comment was, not the asshole. Tell him you'll consider changing your last name back to your maiden name if you can change the kid's name also. If if he doesn't agree, he can sit on it and rotate. OP actually answered to that and said I did offer that as a solution, and he completely lost it, saying he's deadhead and they deserve to have his last name. Yet when I said I wanted the same last name as our kids, he told me that wasn't a legitimate reason to not change it. That is a legitimate reason to not change it. Like, you got married. Like, I'm sorry to break it to you. Like, the thing is, like, it might go right, okay? Like, I'm not hating on the situation, but it's such a classical situation that older that's like divorced, then like, you know, gets together with a very, very young girl, and 24, I'm 24, in a few weeks, days, whatever, is really, really young, and you are really, really immature. I'm sorry, but like, besties, we are, okay? And you're very jealous, like, this feeling, like, the things she's doing, they're coming from a place of jealousness, of insecurity, you know? Like, a secure woman would not have a problem with the wife having the same name. Like, who the fuck cares, you know? Like, who cares? But she's 24. It's like, man, your solution to your problems is to just not fuck insecure, immature girls, okay? Go in your own age category, you know, find a lovely woman that maybe already has a kid as well. Like, you're gonna be doing way better with that, and your life is gonna be way less miserable, okay? And I know this situation can work for some people, but like, I feel like the priority here should be the kids. And if your kids don't like your new partner, I don't know, you should put your kids first, especially if it's so apparently important to you that they have the same name as you. So if you keep going like that, you won't have contact with them in like 3 months. So be a man, okay? Be a father. That's my advice. But I think I'm a bit, how do you say? I'm a bit based on this topic, because again, a little bit of personal experience here. Alright, I say not the asshole, and let's just continue to the next story. Okay, my friends, we have time for one more story. And the other one we're gonna unfortunately have to keep for a different day. I can just feel my neighbours getting really, really moving and agitated. They can hear it. So I think we're nearing the time where everyone's just gonna be really loud. So I'm sorry for the background noise. Let's jump into this last story, which was posted 13 days ago, and it's called Am I the Asshole for Telling My Girlfriend I'm Bothered by the Way She and Her Family Treat Their House Staff? I'm a 25 male, dating this girl, 24 female, for about 5 months. I knew her family was well off based on the stories she told me about her upbringing, but I didn't get a chance to meet her parents until this week, when we all went to their beach house to spend a few days and celebrate her father's 60th birthday. The house wasn't just huge, but it also employed a staff of about 8 people. I was never used to being served like that, and I witnessed some behaviors from my girlfriend and some of her family towards the worker that made me feel uncomfortable. Some examples. A. After our first night, I heard her mother tell one of the housekeepers to clean the bedroom my girlfriend and I were staying in. I told her mother everything was in order and that I already made our bed before leaving. Her mother then told me, in the presence of the housekeeper, that I shouldn't be bothered because that's the housekeeper's job. B. The other morning, my girlfriend and I soon as we came back, I couldn't hold it any longer, and told my girlfriend it made me really uncomfortable to see how she behaved towards the stuff, and also gave some examples of instances where I felt her parents were rude to them. My girlfriend didn't take this well. She said that I am the asshole here for judging their lifestyle. In her mind, we had a perfect week together, and I was withholding my judgment until I could unleash it on her. I don't think I'm the asshole for speaking my mind. Okay, I find that this is like a really hard situation. So obviously I've seen the verdict on this, and the overall Reddit verdict here is asshole. So I'm not sure if I 100% agree that he is the asshole. I kind of feel like he was a bit thrown out of his own comfort zone. So, okay. I don't know, from obviously, okay, very, very obviously, there are people who treat housemaids, like chefs, whatever, with a lot of disrespect and, you know, look down on them, which I personally don't think is okay. Like, I love people who can cook, okay? I cannot cook. Like, it's such a talent to cook. You know, I don't know how you could ever look down on people who can make amazing, amazing meals for you. Like, you know what I mean? So I feel like that's already not something nice to do. And then as well, you know, not everyone needs someone to clean house, to make their bed, to make them coffee, but apparently these people are rich enough that they want to live like that, they want to live this lifestyle, but at the same time they are employing people with that. Like, they've made enough money in their life to afford certain things to be done for them, and I don't know, all these people wouldn't have a job if they would make their own coffee, if they would make their own bed. Like, yes they can, but like, I guess they don't want to, and they're giving someone else the job. But that's probably the job, that's probably the entire income this other person has. I mean, usually you like to have just one job. But you know, and as long as they are paying their staff fairly, and like treating them with respect and gratitude, I don't think there's anything wrong with having people to, I don't want to say serve you, like they work for them, you know. It's like any other job, and they deserve to be treated with respect, but no one, I feel, was disrespectful. And I'm sure he didn't make the bed as great as the standard is in this house. It's amazing as a housekeeper who's done this time after time and actually learned and knows how to make this. Oh, like hotel beds, like, oof, coming home, coming back, you know, after a long day at the pool or wherever on holidays, and then coming home to a crisp, fluffed out hotel bed. A dream. I could never, you know. So I get where he's coming from. I don't think he's an asshole. I think he's just a little overwhelmed with the situation. But I also don't think the family is an asshole, as they are very obviously, you know, paying these people to do a job. I really hope they're paying them well and not insulting them, you know. But that didn't seem to be the problem. And it's kind of hard to say that I'm forcing them to work, because there are obviously people that would do a lot for money if you're in the situation to not have a lot of money, like basically, you know, exploiting them. But I just get it, that didn't seem to be the problem. Like, it's kind of funny hosting, like was making the dinner there or the foods for the influencers, and it's so interesting what food they make and stuff. And like these people, like those people, for example, you know, they're well paid, they're treated with respect, and they're not like exploited minimum wage workers who work there. So I feel like if he's coming from that point, you know, then I understand where he's coming from, but it is very well a completely normal job that is paid normally and has a certain standard within that. Like the standing in, like, next to the dinner, like, they're not standing there for like 17 hours, you know, they're standing here while you're having your food and then they go home. Like, if that's paid well, like, that's a great job, like, having to stand there, you know, like, great job. And they wouldn't be doing that usually if they didn't want to. But let's read some comments. So I say not the asshole, but also the other ones aren't the asshole, and he should be more understanding, you know. Okay, top comment. Obviously people, regardless of their job, should be treated with respect, but I just want you to consider a different perspective for a second. The staff might be 100% okay with the behaviour you saw if they paid enough and feel confident that it's better than other job options. An outsider seeing my job would probably think some parts of it are ridiculous, but those parts are worth it to me as the person actually doing the job. For example, when your girlfriend's mother said, "Don't make your bed, that's the staff's job." A staff member hearing that might think, "She's right, please don't do this. Don't do my job for me, because then she has no reason to pay me for that job." I am not saying you're not wrong for feeling uncomfortable with the behaviour you saw. I am just cautioning you that you might be white knighting for people who are actually okay with the work environment you saw. White knighting, actually never heard that, but it's a good term, you know. I feel you and I get where you're coming from, but in this one occasion, you are the asshole, sorry. It is a paid housekeeper's job to make the bed. You put the kitchen staff in a bad spot. They were not supposed to let you make coffee, but they can't contradict you as the boyfriend of one of the family. The staff, like any other waiter at a restaurant, just stands around and stands by waiting for the moment to bring the foods or plates away. Imagine you are in a hotel. The cleaning crew has a job to do. That job includes the bed, the bathroom, the towels. Imagine you go to a cafe and want to make your own coffee as to not to disturb the employees. Imagine you're in a restaurant and ask the waiter to sit down and eat with you, or you just bring your own empty plates and glasses to the kitchen. It's just not okay and not how it's done, and above all, those are working people with a job and a job description. You have to respect that. Your girlfriend should have told and prepared you, but perhaps she didn't know she needed to. That's her fault. Maybe she's just naive, I don't know. The fact is that the way things are run at her place, can you accept it and not see its exploitation? The staff is working and is compensated, or does this make you uncomfortable? See, I feel like this is a very, very good comparison. I feel like by being, you know, so worried and stuff, he's kind of like, he kind of could be the asshole in the sense of that he is looking down on these jobs. He's kind of like, oh, I have to do that for him because, like, they don't want to do this, like, what? So yeah, I don't know, I feel like it's a bit iffy to say he is the asshole for it, but he definitely needs to reconsider it. But obviously we weren't there. Maybe all these employees were like wearing like fucking chains or something and were there in like rags and looked very sad and desperate, and he just tried to help them, and the family changed them up in the basement afterwards, you know, common rich people behavior, I don't know. But yeah, if it just was like a normal situation, like my example with the private chef I've seen on TikTok, so much